your arm.
In Act 4, we see John Proctor in a different light. And in order for a character to be complex, there needs to be what I call, or what people call, an arc in the journey of the character. And in a good performance, there's an arc in the performance, so we don't just get one side. So, for example, I saw a production of this once where Paris just shouted all the way through. So there was no arc in his performance. He started at one level and he stayed all at the same level. Now here we've had Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. In each of those acts, John Proctor has started off in a relatively calm way and then quickly he's become angry. And what we see it's sort of midway, well, I don't know, it's sort of part way through anyway, let's put it that way, Act 4. We see Elizabeth come to visit John Proctor in the prison. And it's tender, and it's truly tender. And again, John is looking for forgiveness from Elizabeth. And she makes it clear to him that actually he's always had that forgiveness from her. And she's always thought him a good man. And he wants her, in a way, to help him make the decision about what he does, about signing his name to this piece of paper that means that he was colluding with the devil, which is of course nonsense. It's not true, but if he does it, then his life is saved. However, if he does that, all his lands will be taken from him and his children will be left without land. What does he do? What does John Proctor do here? And there is this true tenderness between him and his wife. And she says to him, look to your heart. It's your soul. It's your eternal soul. So she says, you can't make the decision based on the here and now. You have to make the decision based on forever. And she means eternity. She means after death. If he can make some accommodation with his soul for what he says, then go with it. And it doesn't matter whether you do or you don't believe in a soul and a life after death. This is about what John Proctor believes. And we see here at the very end that this man with his fatal flaw, whichever flaw it may be, the sin of pride, the sin of lust, the sin of anger, or maybe a combination of all three of those, we see at the end that actually he truly is religious, he truly has faith, and rather than save his own life by lying, he decides he will not lie. He will not sign the piece of paper. Now, obviously, he starts off by saying, yes, okay, I'll go along with it. But then ultimately, when that moment of judgment comes, shall I sign, shall I not sign? He signs the piece of paper, then he takes it away from them and says, I've signed it, let that be enough. No, we must publish this piece of paper. He will not allow the lie that he consorted with the devil to be published. And so what do we see about the character here? We see that despite his flaws, he has this thing we call integrity. Integrity. And integrity means that if someone has integrity, they will do something that maybe hurts themselves, but for the proper reason. That is what integrity is about, and this is what he does here. He shows that John Proctor, despite his flaws, despite the many mistakes he's made, despite the anger that he shows on a regular basis, despite the fact that he lashes out sometimes at the people around him who love him the most, that he has integrity, and he is a true and decent and honest man. And he goes to his death honest, truthful, and a man with integrity. How many of us would just sign the paper and hand it over, even if it was a lie, just to avoid being killed? But John Proctor does not. And so the measure of the man is that actually at the end, he's a hero. It's a heroic deed, it's a heroic action based on true spiritual belief. And it shows us that this man, despite his faults and flaws, is a decent and good man.